Is the president right that this is just an excuse, or do they have a real cost issue here?
Well, I think it's, as companies try to think about allocating capital properly, you really are beholden to your shareholders. And if you are going to have your capital allocated more prudently and your per unit profitability improve by shifting your resources elsewhere, then those might have to be steps that are taken on occasion.
So in other words, they're going to have to pay $2,200 more per bike. They can either pass the cost increase to customers in the EU or move production overseas. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. And I think, in order to fail to alienate their consumers overseas, keeping that price steady and bringing good innovative products that are manufactured at a competitive price is part of that equation.
And Veronique, today, this afternoon, Brown-Forman, the whiskey maker, said it's going to raise prices for whiskey in the EU. Is that showing that this isn't just about Harley and their struggles, which they do have for sure? This is not a new thing. Their business has been struggling, but now Brown-Forman is out there too saying we have to make a choice, and they're choosing to raise prices, right?
Yes, I mean, everyone has to make prices and has to make choices. I mean, the president seemed to actually think that costs are not a real thing, but it is. It is for people when you impose tariffs, or whether it's through the steel and aluminum tariffs, which raise the cost of a lot of manufacturers in the U.S., or retaliation as a result of these tariffs. You are going to have American consumers hurt, but you're also going to have American businesses who have to make tough choices. And by the way, am I the only one to be shocked to hear the president say that he's been nice to Harley? It's not his job to be nice to a particular company or to be mean to another one, because then he followed through with tweets today, basically promising that Harley, if they wanted to actually sell
like
here,
he's offended. He said, look, they were at the White House, and now they're doing this to me.
Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
Harley's not going to make any bikes sold here anywhere but here, right? That's getting lost in the president's venting about this whole
there's
thing.
no tariff, yes. It's only if they're sending it to the EU, which is...
So therefore, Harley is useful as an instrument to pound home the president's point. What I find interesting is that there was a way for him to kind of deflect this and say, look at that. The EU put on punitive tariffs, and they got production moved there. That's what we have to do, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Maybe we should do it on German cars. Now, of course, it turns into a huge tax increase, and you're moving production to where it shouldn't otherwise be, but I don't think this is going to cool down.
Jaime, go ahead. Veronique, go ahead.
I mean, I think you're pointing out what needs to be pointed out, which is trade wars or trade remedies put in place for whatever reason. Usually they're always bad reason, especially recently, but they create distortions. They force company to shift resources away from the way they were doing business, which was probably more effective than when they have to respond to these tariffs. And incidentally, that tweet that followed, where he was talking about how he was nice to them and he had them at the White House, he also admits for the first time that actually when Harley is going to sell here in the U.S., they're going to have to pay a big tax. So for the first time, may your listener take it in. Taxes, the import tariffs, are import taxes. So Republicans are in favor of import taxes.
Well, right. I mean, again, we never know, to take this on face value, or if he's just kind of putting a trial balloon out there, or if that ends up becoming part of the policy. Jaime, if that's the case, and now Harley shifts production overseas and does face some kind of tariff or tax and bringing that back to the U.S. or EU or whatever the case may be, do they have any other options here?
Well, I think the commentary is a little vague surrounding how these taxes would be implemented. It would be on a unit that would be coming back to the U.S. that was manufactured elsewhere, and I don't think that's the intention of Harley. I think that this tax situation or tariff situation has created this deadweight loss situation where, you have to produce where there's this competitive advantage to do so. And so I don't really know how such a tax would be implemented. I'm not an expert at tax law, but I think it's going to be something that, incrementally is very hard to implement and punish them with at this point.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.